Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers Showcase video. In today's video we're looking at a very fancy mining vehicle which is called the Heavy Wheel Loader, which is this thing right here. It's a fairly modded, fairly scripted mining vehicle which has a bunch of interesting things that it can do, and it also controls very weirdly, but I'll show you that a bit later on. So it makes great use of the conveyor hinge mods, and it uses a lot of pistons in order for it to function. It's quite dangerous to look at if I come around to here. So we've got pistons on hinges, which then come across to this body here. So our front and back are separated via them. So when we try and turn this vehicle, it's going to be a little bit awkward. At the front, we have this little mining head, which is just a bunch of drills, which have been attached via some more conveyors, which come across to some more conveyor hinges, all the way down to this part over here, which once again looks very dangerous, but this is how we move it with our mouse. So we're going to start by going around the outside, and then we're going to drive it around, and I'll show you how this works. So pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, the Heavy Wheel Loader is only 1,572 small blocks. It does require the decorative block 2 DLC pack, but you do not have to have it because they are purely for these transparent LCD screens you see right here. So if you do not have that DLC pack, you can simply spawn this in and put a window block if you wanted to. So coming around to the very front, we'll just quickly go around the side and then drive it around. At the very front here on our drill head, we've got 8 drills, and they're all being conveyed up over to the main body of this vehicle. Got ourselves a light here to make sure we can see what we're doing in the dark, and if I was to drop down here, we've got a bunch of ejectors that sit right here. Now we can turn this on and off via our cockpit, but if you wanted to, you can have it eject out all the stone or the ice and just collect up all the resources if you wanted to do that. Coming down over to here at the very front of our main body, we got some spotlights, we got some interior lights, and we have a connector for you to connect up to a smaller vehicle or your base to unload whatever you've collected. We've got modded wheels that go around the side. These are fancy wheels actually, they're just called wheels, that's the mod name, and they do look rather funny compared to the actual vanilla wheels. As we move around the side, we can see the confuddlement of conveyors, conveyor junctions, pistons, and conveyor hinges that come all the way down over to here. And as we come around to here, we can see we've got ourselves a cargo container and a O2H2 generator, which comes across to this very dangerous looking part right here. We've got conveyor hinges and pistons. Yes, we don't drive in a traditional sense, as we're not one solid lump that turns via wheels. We turn via this system right here, but it's more easier to show than it is to say. Anyway, over here we got ourselves a ladder that allows us to hop up and come over to our little driving compartment, which has modded doors on the front which close up very neatly. If we come around to here, we've got ourselves some more wheels and some more lovely blockwork. As we come around to the very back, you'll probably be able to hear, in fact no, you won't be able to hear because the vehicle's turned off, but there is a hydrogen engine inside there which is going to power this thing along, which is quite handy that we're on an ice field. At the very back, we've got a bunch of blast door edges and another connector for you to connect up to something. Dropping down below, we've got a camera that allows us to reverse away, or in fact drive this more safely to a base. Because we do drive this normally, we drive it towards the drills, but if you wanted to be a lot more stabler, you drive it backwards. We then got a bunch of lights next to that camera so we can see in the dark. Coming up and above there is our hydrogen engine, and then we've got some air vents that go all the way down, and some unfinished spotlights and an unfinished rotor head right there. We've got ourselves a battery which sticks out the side, and we've got these grey battered armoured blocks that come all the way down to the main body just for a bit of decoration. On top of our driving cabin, we got our rotating light, which is purely there for decoration. If you don't have the DLC pack, you're not really going to miss this block. It just makes a orange light and spins around. Coming around to this side on the front of our cabin, we got 4 spotlights to light up our way. And then in our actual cabin, we got a bunch of transparent LCD blocks, which are being used as windows. Inside our driving cockpit area, we got ourselves our control seat and some conveyors that come up to an air vent and a button. And coming around to the front, we've got some LCD screens that sit up there that'll tell us some very important information. And I think that just about covers it in the simplest possible way, because going over this part right here is going to hurt your heads quite a lot as we go through it all, because there's sorters, there's conveyors, there's pistons, it just looks very dangerous to anyone who's used these types of things before. So pressing F6 and getting into my character, let's just go and switch on that engine and just come like this. We've got fancy doors here which close up very neatly, look at them. Like that, and then we can hear the hum of the hydrogen engine behind us. So opening this up and heading on inside, we can just close these up because we do have space to walk around, and then we can press this button to switch on the lights in here if we want to. It's quite a neat little thing. Then we can get into our seat, go into first person and look up. So we've got our power usage, our hydrogen, and then we have our meters per second, and over there is how full we are. Now we don't have much of a view from here, so we will have to utilize the third person camera. But I will go through the controls first of all. So number one on our first tab is to use the drills. It's not just a set and forget, we do have to use our left mouse button or right mouse button to drill. Number two and number three are our gyroscopes, which are just there to make this vehicle a lot more stable, because it is very wobbly even now, so we can pump that up if we needed more assistance, or we could lower it down if you don't like it. Number four is our parking brake on and off, so we don't have to press P and disconnect our connectors. Number 5 is for our rotating light on top. Number 6 is for our spotlights, so we can switch them on and off. Number 7 and number 8 is to raise or lower the wheels. Pressing number 7 will drop us down, and number 8 will raise us all the way up. I would just press there because it does seem to be a bit more stabler. Number 9 is for the ejectors that sit under our drills. So if you want to collect up the ice, collect up the stone, we simply turn that off, and away we go. On tab number 2, this is more for our functionality of our main body. So we've got switches for our connectors at the front and at the back. We've got a camera that allows us to view backwards and to drive around. And then we've got some more controls for the wheels. 8 is for our hydrogen engine on and off. And number 9 is for our doorway that sits right there. So we can open up with that button. Tab number 3, 4 and 5 have nothing on. So it's time to actually drive this around. Doing this is how it turns. We're using those conveyor hinges and pistons in order to achieve this. It's very weird to do. I did have to invert the wheels, invert the steering, in order to make it more natural, because if you spawn this in normally, you will have A to go right and D to go left, and it does get a little bit confusing. Although it's fine if you're driving backwards, it is simply making it easier to control. So just driving forwards, this is what we get. We can just turn ourselves like this. It's a little bit wonky. We just turn around. It takes a bit of time to get used to, and there is quite a risk of damaging this thing if you go too fast. It is a very interesting vehicle to drive. If I was to just come over to, let's say, over to this part over here, just turn myself all the way around very carefully. We don't want to turn too much or we risk damaging it. Like over to here. There we go, and put our parking brake on. I can then use my mouse to lift this up and down. Now these controls are inverted once again, so going up is going to lower us, and going down is going to raise us. So we use our mouse to start drilling. So we can start drilling like this if you want to, and then slowly just move yourself forwards and create yourself a flat little road. We're going to start collecting up all the stone, and if you were to press number 9, it will start ejecting it out in front of you. My only complaint is the ejectors are just in front of the wheels, and we do have collision with those lumps. So it can be a little bit awkward just trying to drive forwards and make a nice flat area. But then again, this is just more for fun than it is functionality. Although on the workshop page, it did say it is survival ready, so you can use this in survival mode if you want to just spawn it in. So we're just going to keep going forwards. From first person view, this is what we get. So we can raise, and then we can lower it like so. Then we can just keep on drilling. If I was just to reverse out and come across to the ice, it is a little bit awkward because I'm trying to use Alt to control the camera, but I also need my mouse to control the drills. We can start drilling the ice a little bit, so we just bonk ourselves down, poof, there we are. Now we're collecting ice and just ejecting it out. But if we wanted to drive away, we just go into camera number 3, and off we go. Just drive like this, coming out of the camera, this is what it looks like. We just turn our cameras around, and here we are. It looks more like a tractor going backwards than it does going forwards. Maybe that was the intention, maybe not. If we was to just come up this hill right here, if I can just do this carefully, it is very awkward to control, but it's still fun to use. I've never seen anything quite like this, and in my opinion, it should have broke a long time ago. But we can just keep driving up the hill, maybe. I think I'm turning it too much. There is a tree there. Go away, tree. No one likes you. But anyway, it's a fantastic little drill. Yes, it's not too practical in the long run. Yes, it will never reach those really low ores, but it's still fun to try around, and I highly recommend downloading it just to see how this controls and how the actual drill controls. So it'll be in the description below if you wish to download and play around with this yourself. I highly recommend you to, because it is a very interesting vehicle. But as for that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.